We're going to unpack a paradox that's probably sitting right there in the palm of your hand. It's a feeling a lot of us have, but we can't always find the words for it. Today, we're diving into the hyperreality of modern relationships to get to the bottom of one huge question. Why are so many of us so lonely?
It's the biggest contradiction of our time, isn't it? Think about it. We have thousands of followers, hundreds of friends, endless potential matches just a swipe away. We are literally plugged into a global network 24/7. So, how is it possible that a deep sense of isolation seems to be growing right alongside all that connectivity? And that right there, that's really the heart of the matter. We've built these incredible, sprawling digital cities, just packed with profiles and avatars. But somehow, the feeling of a real, genuine connection often gets completely lost in all that noise. It's this weird paradox that's living on our screens, sure, but also inside our own heads, a world of infinite connection that somehow manages to feel incredibly lonely.
All right, so let's try to put a name to this feeling. Let's call it a connected loneliness. This isn't about being physically by yourself, it's about feeling emotionally cut off, even when you're surrounded by a digital crowd.
And wow, this chart really just lays it all out, doesn't it? That huge bar on the left, that's your online network. It's massive. But that tiny little bar on the right, well, that's the number of people you could actually call at 3 a.m. with a real problem. And that gap between the two, that's not just a statistic, That's a measure of something much deeper. So what's really crucial to get here is that this isn't about not having enough people around. It's about a lack of being truly seen for who we really are, beyond the polished posts and the perfectly crafted bios. It's kind of like you're shouting in a super crowded room, but everyone else is shouting too, so is anyone really listening?
Okay, to really get what's going on here, we need a new way to look at it, a new lens, if you will. And that brings us to the core idea for today, a concept that's going to pull all these pieces together. So, welcome to hyperreality. So, what on earth is hyperreality? Okay, stick with me here. It sounds like some complicated philosophical term, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. It's what happens when the simulation of something, the sign, the image, the online profile, becomes more important, more influential, more real to us than the actual thing it's supposed to represent. The easiest way to think about it is this. The map becomes way more compelling than the actual territory. And this slide breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got reality. It's messy, it's complicated, but it's authentic. Then, on the other side, you have hyper-reality. It's curated, it's simplified, it's idealized. And let's be honest, our digital lives are constantly pushing us, nudging us to live more on that shiny, hyper-real side of the fence. Okay, so where does this all really show up in our day-to-day lives? Well, let's talk about dating. There is seriously no better example of this than modern dating. It's like we're not even dating people anymore. We're dating inside a simulation. And here's rule number one of this simulation. That profile you're swiping on, that is not the person. It's a performance. It's a carefully crafted advertisement designed to get you to click, to swipe, to match. It's the trailer for the movie, right? Not the actual full-length film with all the messy and, yeah, sometimes kind of boring parts. I mean, we all know the playbook, don't we? That one photo from that one perfect angle, the bio that sounds so effortlessly funny but actually took 3 of your friends to write, the list of hobbies that's all hiking and traveling the world but leaves out binge watching an entire TV series in one weekend. The bottom line is, we're all putting on a performance. And what's the end result of all this? Well, when you ask people how these apps actually feel to use, the answer is pretty clear. You see that tiny little sliver of the circle? That's people feeling like they're making a real, authentic connection. And the rest, that huge chunk, that's everybody who feels like it's all just a performance. And this whole setup, it creates this very specific, almost addictive loop. You swipe, you get that little dopamine hit from a match, you have some witty, hyper-real banter back and forth over text, and then poof, more often than not, it just fizzles out. The connection almost never leaves the simulation and enters messy reality. Why? Because the game, the simulation, has become more exciting than the prize. All right, so let's zoom out for a second. Let's take that big picture view. What does it all mean when we start living our lives, and even our love lives, inside of this simulation? What's the view from the outside looking in? There's this quote that it nails it.
We've gotten so good at making the copies, the profiles, the posts, our digital selves so polished and perfect and appealing that the messy, complicated, and imperfect original, reality itself, starts to feel like a letdown. We start to prefer the map because, well, it's just prettier. And so this is the big question we really want to leave you with. In a world where we spend so much of our time and energy navigating these beautiful, perfect, curated maps of each other, how do we find our way back? How do we find the courage to actually put the map down, to put the screen down, and go explore the real, raw, and yeah, wonderfully messy territory of what it means to actually connect with another person? That's definitely something worth thinking about.